to post, and the answer was just do the MK games, right? But I made a video about this game AEW Fight Forever a while ago, and this was an initial thoughts thing, not a review, just thoughts, because I didn't own the game. It was just kind of my opinions on what I'd seen in terms of content and whatnot. And I feel like do an update, and I have the game. The game is a month old, because I see a lot of reviews like initial thoughts, and I've noticed the general opinion on this game has kind of gone down. There's a lot more negativity. They have an official Discord, I'm in that. And yeah, it's like daily you go to general chat and there's gonna be someone like complaining about something. And yeah, again, it's a mixed bag. My thoughts on just the general thing on this game being a mixed bag, I still stand by that. I think there's some stuff to discuss though, and probably some changes of opinion to stuff I said in my initial thoughts. So we'll get to it. I guess I want to start with talking about new content, so DLC. And the DLC situation has been an absolute joke. I told last initial thoughts, my take has not changed on it even after buying it, right? I had the physical copy base game, and I had a eShop gift. I had the Switch version, and I'll talk about some bugs, and a lot of them probably pertain specifically to Switch edition. Others are just general game stuff I noticed, but I'll get to that. But yeah, it was Switch version, the eShop has the season pass list. So I buy it because it's it's 6 rests I'm going to use. The Matt Hardy DLC is a fine price, £4. He should be base game, but it's fine. Although some contrast with the Matt Hardy DLC is miscommunication. This is the main issue with this, outside of just being really overpriced and such an unfair DLC. Is that basically the Matt Hardy DLC? They advertise it as having 2 Matt Hardys, right? You got the regular one, and then you've got his goofy ass broken gimmick, right? That's just an alt costume. That's just an alt. Even though they can't treat it a separate character, and that's probably not a big deal to most. It's not to me. But I think that's a bit misleading, because it's you're pre-ordering for 2 characters technically, who will have distinct movesets and whatnot. But no, it's just Matt Hardy with an alt costume. More miscommunication is how you get that alt costume, because you have the modify wrestlers tab, which you can't actually modify anything, which was so dumb. Except throwing a t-shirt on wrestlers, right? Unless they have a specific dedicated alt attire, you can't customize anything, really. So that goes to Kenny, who has he has 3 alts on top of his main, which is questionably specific. Why just him? And they're hidden in the game. You don't have to unlock them. It's just if you check, you'll find them. I know when you unlock Owen Hart, there's 2 costumes for him. At least I've heard. I don't have them unlocked yet. Others are, the shop you can unlock the Young Bucks and the Britt Baker alts. That's another 3. And yeah, the last one's this broken Matt costume. And yeah, that's fine, but it is kind of misleading. And also the fact that you have to manually add the alt costumes is just annoying, and that's why most people weren't sure how to get it at first, right? It feels like it was supposed to be unlockable. He's supposed to be base game, clearly, because he's in the Road to Elite mode. He's supposed to be base game. At least FDR don't even show up in Road to Elite. They don't show up in any of the main game stuff. So it does okay, your day 1 DLC characters who should just be in the game from the start. But it seems they were a much later edition at the very least. Matt would have just been here from the start, right? At least around then. Because, his brother Jeff's just base game. So, clearly he was supposed to be base game as well. It's such a very odd DLC pick. And unfortunately, a lot of people did fall for it. A lot of people pre-ordered this game, which very dumb. I don't think pre-ordering games is inherently dumb, because they're always determined if, I want this game. But this was such an uncertain release, and I expected a lot of issues with this game. I could already identify a lot of them. All the games, I was very critical for the game released. And when it released, I had a lot more positives to take away from it. That's why overall I'm not as negative as most people, because I got what I expected. An overpriced game that I enjoy, but yeah, it doesn't justify the price of the base game, let alone the DLC. Um, and yeah, it has a bunch of issues. It's a very flawed wrestling game. I didn't expect it to be this great, you know, like fantastic favorite game, wrestling game of all time. Where like my main wrestling game is still going to be the SVR games and for the Switch Wrestling Empire. I mean, I am enjoying this game, right? So I gotta clarify that. But for the four people who pre-ordered the game, they pre-ordered the physical one, you do not get Matt Hardy DLC. It was a digital pre-order only, and they never clarified that. Not once have I seen them mention it. I could be wrong, but I'm 90% sure they never mentioned that until people got the game and they were like, why don't I have the DLC? Or you had people who had the DLC and were wondering, where's the alt costume? Just so much miscommunication. They don't tell you anything, and when you got this overpriced bullshit DLC, you'd think THQ would let the fans know what the hell they're buying. That takes you the season pass. So you have the FTR pack, right? That's fine. Annoyingly though, is you have to automatically, like, not automatically, because it's not automatically done for you. You need to manually make them a tag team. That's not already set for you. And boy, the tag system's annoying, making your tags teams. I mean, I think the actual tag team matchup's actually kind of overhated. I actually quite like the system. The only issue is that there's no, like, options beyond just regular 2v2. There's no tornado tag options, even though Road to Elite having the handicap matchup shows that they can clearly do it. So I find that kind of dumb. But yeah, I have no issue with the actual tag team match type. Or at least not big ones. I guess we could talk about it later. But yeah, like, that's annoying. The modified teams thing is quite annoying because they only have 4 teams automatically there. And there's a lot that just aren't there. Like in actuality, and I was surprised by this because at first I was claiming there's not enough tag team, but there's like at least 10 like feasible teams you make, and we'll get like 3 more with the Hook and Danhausen DLC. They themselves are a tag team, and you've got like fucking Jungle Hook. I don't make the names. This is AEW makes these shitty names, and then you've also got Hook completing Team Taz, which that's like the only complete faction in this game. They have every Team Taz member. Taz himself isn't playable, which I feel is a missed opportunity. That's another thing with the roster, is just missed opportunity with Legends. I get prioritizing the main guys, but Owen Hart is so random compared to their actual on-screen Legends, you know? But I digress. Our main issue is with these 2 unreleased packs. You got the Keith Lee and Ali pack, and then you've got the Hookhausen pack, right? And the Nintendo eShop listed the Keith Lee pack that was going to come out on the 25th of July, and then the Hookhausen was sometime in August. Now the dates have changed. They're like a month delayed. Now, basically, this isn't an official date. This isn't like a delay. Turns out they were just placeholder dates from the start. Both dates. There was really specific, particular dates. They're all placeholders. Which makes no sense to me because the Nintendo eShop usually just, for a placeholder, it's just the end of the year. So whatever date's the end of the year, so you can just tell that, oh yeah, that's not an actual release date. And the FTR release date they had was correct. So I find it very shady, for one. Like basically, assuming the story that THQ is claiming that these are just placeholder dates is true, assuming that's actually true, then why didn't you clarify that earlier? And people brought this up in the Discord, and then like the admin guy, the Zaidi guy, which is like a nice dude, but Jesus fucking Christ, man, he is annoying about this case because you are defending this bullshit at your company you're a part of. Like, your job is to communicate with the fans, and you fail to do that. Is, well, we were saying don't trust any source that's not official, which that being AEW, THQ, or Ukes, right? But it's the official Nintendo eShop. If you go to that shop, everyone who sees the dates, they're going to go, oh, those are the actual release dates, because they're really specific. I get if the story's true, then they didn't assign the placeholders, just whoever's in charge of the eShop listings, right? But clarify that earlier then. add in the description that there's no official release date yet or something. Like, very dumb. Very, very dumb. And it's absolutely ridiculous how they are trying to defend themselves by only clarifying this now after the dates were pushed back and people were mad. They went, oh, but they were always placeholders, so nothing's actually been delayed. They didn't even say that to be like, oh, bad news. They said that to be like, oh, it's good news because actually it's not delayed. I believe the dates. I have like a fucking conspiracy theory, I guess. I think they're just bullshitting because I think they're a very shady company, honestly. Just in how they've handled all this, you know, and by shit I mean just being very greedy with this DLC. Like I have genuinely not seen a more money hungry DLC. And yeah, it feels like no, you just bullshitted your way to the situation. I think the placeholder dates there probably. And actually, no, not probably. I think they might just be the actual dates, honestly, because they're so specific. They're so specific. And we just can't trust THQ's word anymore. So they might be official dates, but if they are, then like it comes out in like October, the last pack. But I feel like it's going to be a wait until around that time at this point. I don't know, though. I genuinely don't, but that's just a theory. It's dumb. Like it's two wrestlers per pack. Oh, also don't forget the mini games. The mini games that no one cares about, and they used to bump up the price. Very dumb. Like super dumb. This is still the most overpriced DLC I have seen ever. Just ever. This is the most overpriced DLC. And the fact that we have to wait longer to get them now, it's not even a month release. You know, those seem like very legitimate dates, especially when it's a season pass. How long's a season, guys? 3 fucking months. And it's end of July now, and we don't have the second pack. For a game that's supposed to be, that promised, they actively promised that, oh, it's going to get support for a long time because it's not a yearly release. And we're not even getting any actual update within the first month of the fucking game. Like seriously, not a good sign. Not a good sign. They had one patch update, but that was like very tiny. Actually, that was like very small. There's a lot of bugs. There's a lot of bugs for the game. I'll get to that. But yeah, I think it's just genuinely unacceptable, right? You know, really annoying because I honestly expected this. I genuinely expected this to happen. But yeah, it's ridiculous. It really is. I hope there's no more season passes. When you were a season pass, you assume there's more, right? And I feel like they probably will go around. I feel like they shouldn't now. I mean, I say it because the system's dog shit for one. But the pricing is ridiculous. To get a complete game, you gotta go for all that. Like, no. And that leads us to the Stadium Stampede fucking Battle Royale mode that they did show a trailer for. This is like the next big content that'll be at update. Possibly with the next DLC pack, I'd have to assume, but I don't know. There's a lot of breakdown just from this menu. But yeah, I'm not a fan of this idea. The initial thought I had was, oh, Battle Rescue, that's kind of fun, but I don't want microtransaction stuff. Now, straight away, there is a separate shop tab here. This is a separate menu to the main game. You can see if you press the right stick, you'll alternate between this page and the main game, right? And yeah, that's just means there's a separate shop. Perhaps, I mean, we do not see another currency here. It's still just cash, so that's a good sign. But the fact there's a separate shop, that's kind of concerning. There's also a separate challenge tab, but I think that one makes sense because different stuff. There's a rewards tab as well. So rewards for playing the game, right? I don't know what's separate about the shop and the rewards, but I am still concerned that there's like some battle pass system because that's what was leaked alongside this mode. We knew about this before the game released, and that had like a battle pass track thing, like a premium track. So unless it costs like a lot of like cash to grind out in game, I feel like if they go that route, then it's going to be you pay for it. Which please no, please don't. I think the season pass is like already absurdly priced. If they're going to do more DLC on top of their season pass system, that's going to be very unacceptable. You know. But again, I think that's just speculation. When you look at the tabs, I mean, yeah, none of it suggests there's a battle pass of any sort. But yeah, and there's also a local option, so that's just you can play it like not online, which is a good sign that there's going to be some offline option. Obviously, that probably means that there'll be AI players. And I think that's cool. I also think they would just prefer the actual Stadium Stampede match type though, and I'll get to that because having a match with like Final Stadium, that's not as unique as a game mode where it's a battle royale. You know, a wrestling battle royale is a very clever and unique idea, and that's very standout. That's a very standout thing to advertise, right? But I don't think it's going to be effective, and that's because of how the online system works. That's what it all comes down to. This will, I'm sure, be a bit of fun to play against the AI, but this is not going to be a 30-player battle royale in the sense that there will be 30 actual players, because you can't find a single player to do one-on-one matches. And in fact, you're going to make it harder to find matchmaking because there's going to be people matchmaking into the battle royale on top of all the like 10 different match type options you have in casual and ranked. And there's also private lobbies that people will be in. There's not enough of a player base. It just supposed if things were cross-platform, then maybe. But that's the thing. There's no cross-platform in this game. And as a Switch player, I have found like 3 people, and that was on Sunday, so over the weekend specifically. And I had to swap to the American servers. Not servers, matchmaking region. There's 3 different matchmaking regions as well. So think of how that divides the player base, right? Which means it's basically impossible to find online outside of adding people in the Discord and doing your own private lobbies, right? And that's a shame because I think the actual gameplay, this is like a rare case of wrestling game gameplay that's actually fun online. There's still like jank and there's still like bullshit try hard strategies, but it's kind of unpreventable with a wrestling game because like it's inherently unbalanced with the different stats and shit. So that one doesn't necessarily annoy me. The thing that does annoy me is that like if you quit the game, you're not punished and you don't get the player who you left from doesn't even get a win. Like that's an absolute joke of a system. Like the rank's just a joke, right? And it's so annoying because you just see your ranked card on the main menu. Like, I don't give a fuck if I'm jobber rank. I'm not playing ranked because I can't because you don't have enough players game. And it's only a month into this and I can't find anyone. Like this is a dead game. Like genuinely dead. You know, people like say that as like a like exaggeration. Like, no, this one is legit dead. At least on Switch, and apparently the player base is even smaller on PC for online. Again, online. It's specifically online. Because again, not many people playing this for online. So it's good to see it as a local option. But yeah, I think this whole like online battle royale system, I don't think that's going to really appeal to many people. As unique of a concept as it is. Because again, you're paying for this overpriced game for a battle royale. A very unpopular game. So, yeah, and since people were saying, well, it's free to play, so there'll be more players. No, this is an update to a fully priced game. How would you make that free to play? Makes no sense. It's not like paid DLC. You don't have to pay to get into this mode. It's free content update, right? And that's cool. And it looks fun. Again, I'm having it as a local option, right? So that just means that there's offline play for this. But yeah, the online aspect of this game, it's going to fail, I think, in what THQ expects. Unless they do some drastic online change, but I don't think you can. I don't think that's possible. Where you have a game and you could just update it to have crossplay. Like, you either have the crossplay or you don't. I don't think you can just throw it in at a later date. And if they were planning on crossplay, they would have done so by launch. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, with the shops up and rewards, we've already seen you all stuff, which does make me happy because it's like well, whenever you do an update, you might as well add these new alts to buy in the shop. I think that's a really good system to have, like, these, like, because the game getting support for a while, you just keep adding different costumes and stuff. I think that's cool. Um, Again, I feel like there should be some customization because you had the modify resters tab. Even if it was just like SCR 2010 Superstar Threads where you just edit the color, that would be greatly appreciated. But yeah, it needs to be more costumes. And we've seen a couple. We've seen Sting with like some a different like face paint pattern, and the face paint's red. And it was like the gold version, and gold attires are still glitched, by the way. And I'm not even sure how you properly unlock them because mine just keeps showing up randomly. And apparently they disappear sometimes, so I'm not going to bother unlocking them. I don't know. But yeah, it was like a gold attire version. Basically, if a character's alts, you get the gold attire thing. There's a gold attire version of each of them, which is kind of cool. So yeah, you can only see the face paint because the clothing parts were just gold, so you can't really tell how different that is. But yeah, presumably it's a different costume. And Chris Jericho also saw, again, this is from like different trailers, I think. And there's like Chris Jericho in like red pants or whatever, and that's a new attire as well. So again, new costumes are definitely coming. I don't know how many though, but it's cool nonetheless. So that's something. Again, if they, that's why I hope we don't do Battle Pass system, because a Battle Pass system would be, oh, unlock these skins. That's the only thing I could think the Battle Pass is for, unless that's how they start adding more characters. Either way, I just see no benefit to it. There's clearly much more benefit to your updates just including free content, right? And that's why I hope this Stadium Stampede mode stays up. If it's just, there's no microtransactions latched onto it, then it's 100% a good addition, even if I think the online aspect of it's gonna fail hard. I think it'll be a fun time. So yeah. We covered a new specific upcoming things, you know. I think it's not good or good. This is like a lot of speculated stuff. I know in the Discord you can send your feedback, and yeah, TSU has actually compiled it in like a like doc, which is public. You can actually see it, and you can actually see the feedback. My feedback's in there, yeah. And yeah, I think that's cool because it means they are taking VR into consideration. And I think they have is bug reports. If you post like a single glitch, even if it hasn't bothered you, like if you post a one and one, I'm going to go, please submit a bug report. I've done that. I think there's a lot of bug reports to me because I have a lot of videos to show you of bugs. And actually, yeah, that's the first thing we'll talk about is the glitch situation. Right? Again, personally, buggy games don't like particularly annoy me, right? And this one doesn't. The bugs in this game are more funny than anything, but it does feel like you're getting very close to like WWE 2K20 levels of broken wrestling game, right? I mean, like when the game came out, the PS4 version had that crash out of their hands, but again, that's just like a doomed sign. Like there's been so many issues with this game. And again, I expected it. I expect this to be a very problematic game. That's why I waited for a bit, see what's going on. And I was like, yeah, I'll buy it. I know what I'm getting myself into. I'll enjoy it. And I do enjoy it. But yeah, bugs were very noticeable. And it feels like, this is just like a regular main menu, right? And that's fine. But then you get stuff like this when you go in for the shop tab. It also, there's like noticeable lag when you buy anything in the shop. And yeah, it'll just like kind of double the menus. It's just like a brief thing. Again, it's just a visual thing. It doesn't actually stay like this. But yeah, that's one thing. I assume that's Switch only, that lag and stuff. So with like Switch stuff, I've noticed it's just kind of like stutters with the pace. But by the way, it's a good port. It's a very good Switch port. But yeah, there's noticeable stuff as you expect from like a Switch port of like this sort of game, right? And it's like just random stutters, and I think they're only in when you've got them like docked in the TV. I think not really noticeable, and you'll forget about quickly, right? But the more noticeable one is whenever you do an achievement, is there'll be a lot of lag before it shows that checkbox. Like your game will just freeze for like 2-3 seconds before telling you, hey, you got an achievement. like, thanks, but maybe the Switch version shouldn't have that show up. Maybe because the achievements you can see what if you got achievements at the end of a match. I think you should just save it for that for the Switch version, rather than having that pop up. It's not really a big deal because you don't get like achievements very frequently. At least like once you start unlocking a lot of like the standard ones, because you have like daily and weekly challenges to like swap around and stuff. But yeah, it's like, oh, my game's frozen. Oh, I'm getting an achievement. That's why. Like you're getting an achievement before the actual achievement pop up occurs. It's very funny. So yeah, that's just like the only real like issues I feel like Switch specific in the performance. But boy, this game has a lot, and I mean a lot of just general bugs and glitches. Again, this is all my own footage. Just some like crazy, hilarious stuff, right? It's very silly. You know, like I mean, some of it is a great game breaking, right? And I know this is like these aren't really like Switch specific; these are just general issues because there's a lot of. It's quite frequent actually. That was the only time I had it. That one I showed you of Cody going into the ring, but I've seen it happen in like a lot of videos. There's a lot of videos of it happening, so it's more common than you'd think. Apparently, when I showed THQ my little video of that entering the crowd glitch. Apparently that is the first crowd glitch discovered. My assumption is basically if a player hits a ropes or someone's on the apron, they're supposed to fall off. Because I was running, I think that just kind of broke everything. I guess I don't know. I'm not the one making this game. I don't know how it works, but yeah, quite a lot of broken stuff, and like quite noticeable because like you'll get some glitch every now and then, some visual stuff sometimes, but like those like the game breaking ones. I mean, that was just a visual on the third one of me diving for a table. I've seen glitches like people like I mean tables are fucked in this game. They're so fucked. Like it's kind of funny, but it's also simultaneously really annoying. You can have a flaming tail, right? And you can knock it over and the fire's still there, which is kind of cool, but I can tell it's not intentional. And like yeah, like a light breeze will just knock down the tables. It is annoying. I have not gotten a regular table spotting at all. I've done like a couple dives onto a table, and that's kind of it. And I'm doing all tables. When you put them in the corner, they're fine because they're in a set place. Well, I say fine, as far as you say, yeah, someone should fucking break them. Doing a like I mean, name another wrestling game where you can do a tope out the ring and you still crash for a table in the corner. How the fuck does that work? It's funny, but yeah, like there's a lot of jank for those tables. They're definitely fixing. In terms of just falling over, I feel like a very simple fix is just have him not fall over if a player walks into him. Like I feel like it's as simple as I don't know why that happens to begin with. But yeah, just general match stuff, right? I enjoy it. I do enjoy it. I think it's like the gameplay's pretty much nailed. The only thing I want outside of glitches being solved or whatever, not even all of them, because some of them are just really fucking funny, right? Like in a tag match, basically like Raw at the ring. If you're the illegal person in the match, so you'll just raw out the ring after a set time, and the AI did that, and both team members they rolled to the wrong side, so when they went to ringside, like swap round, when they got to the corner, they were just walking into each other, and they couldn't get past each other, so I had to come out and fix that. So, yeah, kind of janky. Again, does not feel like a £50 game. It feels more like an indie game beta. I mean that in terms of like the quality and just the general communication of this game. The game itself feels complete. If it was £20 cheaper, it would feel complete. But yeah, it's not worth it. The DLC certainly isn't worth it either. But I mean, you might as well get the fucking DLC going. And if you get it digital, you might as well get the Elite Edition, because I think that one goes on sale. But that's digital only, which is the problem. But yeah, just the general gameplay very fun, and I think a lot of criticism I don't agree with. Like match length, I think the match length's fine. Like if you're going straight to the win, the average match when I was playing Road to Elite was like 4 or 5 minutes. I play on Elite difficulty, which I had unlocked from the start, even though you're supposed to unlock it after playing Road to Elite. But I had that since I first played the game, so I don't know if that's a common glitch, but that's another one I had. But yeah, it's just a lot of weird stuff going on. A whole lot of weird stuff. But yeah, the match. I was trying to think what the fuck I was talking about, and then I just think, I'll bring a point, and I'll just remember, oh yeah, I had this glitch happen. Again, it does kind of just show how many glitches there are in the game. But yeah, the match is fine, I feel. Because if you're like going out for a lengthy match, like most of my match will go between 10 and 20 minutes, right? And because how fast-paced game is generally, like a 5-minute match still feels kind of lengthy. Like, yeah, you're not going like WWE game or even 2K. No, not 2K. Fucking Wrestling Empire. So you're obviously not going with Wrestling Empire lengths because I've had like several hour-long matches in that game. And it's like, yeah, I prefer that. But I can appreciate this stuff. What is it? Too many people want this game to be like, I guess 2K would be the most likely thing. And as much as I feel like it could take from wrestling games, I feel like it should keep being its own thing. Because I don't think it can, like being the first game, it can't really rival like 2K or even Wrestling Empire. Those are like the main two, right? I know there's more coming soon, like UPW and like the Wrestling Code. Both games will probably be better than Fight Forever. But yeah, I think they need to focus on doing their own thing. That doesn't mean they shouldn't have like basic shit that you expect in a wrestling game, like why is there a mash to kick out system? This didn't bother me initially, right? But I mean, firstly, mashing as like a kick out system is kind of scummy because disabilities. Yeah, and people just don't want to mash buttons anyway because I'm gonna break my fucking controller game. I don't want to do that. So yeah, that's one thing to be the only option. But the second thing is just how the pin system works. And I think it's totally fine for online, right? It just makes so much sense for like online competitive like feel, right? Is you do a finisher, it's over like 90% of the time. Not always. You can kick out if you're in a danger state. Sometimes, usually, I don't know how this specifically works when your health bar is in the danger zone, because I have seen people kick out, and I think I have sometimes, but I don't know how it specifically works. You can do it, but yeah, usually a finisher hits, it's over, right? And again, I think that's fine for online, but I feel like you should have an option either just make building up momentum harder, or you change that pin system, which is a really practical one, to have a new option, like preferably a meter system. I think the best idea would be, because you don't even need to replace the mash system if you do this, is just have a meter system from the one from SVR 2010. This is 2011 I think kept it as well. Basically their system was you can do the mashing system still, and because there's a line in the meter, you can hold A and release, or whatever the equivalent button, you do that. Release it, and if it's on that blue bar, you kick out, right? Which is kind of like the standard one, the one people expect from like WWE games. I know it's not even the kick out system anymore, but I feel like that's the most known system, right? But yeah, in 2010 and 2011 specifically, you would... you could also mash, and it would fill up that bar. It would fill up the meter, and if you hit that bar while mashing, then you kick out. This would not only give a visual indicator if you're going to kick out by mashing, it also just gives you generally a chance because there'll always be that bar there. I don't like restricting you so you can't kick out. I feel like there should always be a chance to keep the match going. If you're playing an exhibition online, again, I get it, because I've seen WWE 2K online, and they had like a very, very easy match system, and it was just impossible to beat anyone with a pinfall. I've seen footage that's so scuffed, right? But most people don't play online because it's a wrestling game. Wrestling game online fucking sucks. It always does. You can't make it good. I feel like this game had the potential to do it, but then they made several actively bad choices with how online works. Another one that I didn't mention was the matchmaking, because you kind of like sit and wait, because he'll just have a pop-up saying, oh, we found no one, do you want to search again? Instead of just letting me search for however long I want. It's really dumb. But yeah, I think the pin system, you change that. A lot of people have been requesting it as well, so I feel like it could very well happen. I don't think it would impact online, you know. Again, it's just a very simple change. Just let's kick out. Just let me kick out. It does make like intense if like your opponent's close getting like a special. I think there's some cool stuff with it. Where you try and survive the finisher. You can't kick out. I think there's like an ability where you can reverse signatures and finishes, but typically you can't actually reverse them either. So maybe add that as an option, you know? Like it feels like you're trapped if you get the, let's say, and the longer the match goes on, like the momentum meter will just build up to that quicker, you know? I think that's how it works. It's something like that. But yeah, it feels like, yeah, you're limiting the player there who's trying to have an exhibition experience, right? And again, like something that's good, especially like lights out match type, because I feel like you can have that going forever if you want to, with being outside stuff. And something that also helps is like tag matches of no count out. Again, you can't be pinned on the outside of the ring, so that's typically how you prolong a match. If you want to keep it going, you just head on out the ring. Also, again, the tag matches I think it's actually a really cool system, how it works and stuff. I like how long like the illegal people on the team stay in the ring, because it's like an actual tag match then, because you got people doing spots in the ring. Problems, I think they overestimated made it, because the finisher system, to do tag finishes, you need to do the hold, like how you ready to do a tag system. Someone's got to hold it, but the person who has the special move needs to press it while their partner's grappling their opponent in a very specific spot, right? And that's cool, but it's really hard to do. One, to figure out where the hell you even do it, because you don't have the tag finishers listed. Two, it's figuring out like trying to get it to work, right? Because you're probably working with a computer player, so I don't know if they know how to do it, because I haven't even gotten them in the right spot, but you've got to be really precise about it. And three, they have a tag partner too, who will probably break up that grapple. You know, so they're really hard to do, even though I think it's a really cool idea. I don't really know how you fix that. Because without like completely changing how tag finishes work, you can't really fix that. Which is a shame. Again, maybe it's just a skill issue. I'll need to play more, because I have not actually got a tag finisher off yet. I have not done one yet. I've played like 4 tag matches. So it might just be a learning thing. I don't know, but it does seem very hard. But yeah, overall I think it's a very cool system. I like there's no counters, even though that's not accurate at all. I just think it's kind of cool, because you can do more shit. And yeah, I just think the matches are done very well. You know, Casino Battle Royale's like fantastic mode. You know, I think they did that really well. My only complaint is you can't edit the computer players, right? You can't change who those characters are, which is strange. Again, it feels like they don't expect people to like sim this, like they've got their own like universe thing going on. I feel that's for like a universe mode, but I don't think that's necessary, because I mean, like people just use that as a tool. That doesn't feel like a mode. That's like a tool with like a calendar and whatnot, to just bug stuff, right? To make your own universe, obviously. You could just do that in exhibition and make a Google Doc. That's what I do for the SVR games. That's what I'm gonna do for this game. So yeah, I don't think that's needed. I actually think the modes are fine. I think just having like your career mode, which is somewhat replayable, the Road to Elite mode is like charming at first. even though it's got a lot of issues. I feel like, tore about to death. I don't really care to get too in depth to it because, again, I'm not a big career person, so I don't really care much regardless. I do think they very much overestimate how much you want to replay it, though, because you need to replay it to just change the career stats. That's like my main issue. Also, you need to complete it to unlock a mini game, and it's like 12 to unlock, so they expect you to replay like 12 times to get 100% completion. Why? I mean, I'll do it. I'll do it, but why? It's not too long. It's like 2 hours minimum, I'd say, to get through it. Or, yeah, because you can just quit matches, I did my second one, I just quit a lot of matches, just lose, until I got to the bit I want, and because I was unlocking Paul White, because there's 2 hidden wrestlers, and you get them in, like, specific storylines, and I think that's cool. Again, I think that's cool things in the mode. I like how there's different paths and stuff. There seems to be no real way of, like, deciding on the paths. I only feel like they're just random, but I could be wrong. I don't know how it works. Also, some of the storylines just suck. Usually the ones involving championships, but there's other ones, like, I think the worst one's the relationships one. Because, like, literally when you get to the end, you've got, like, fucking JR saying, we don't know the source of their issues, but let's hope their beef's been solved or whatever the fuck. Like we got no reason for, like, basically the storyline is you pick someone to ask on a date, to just anyone. I picked Abaddon. And, like, yeah, I'm like, okay, this is fun. Then you get, like, I don't know if it's specific, because my second playthrough, I picked a man today, and then a woman showed up. I think I might like a set woman and a set man, for if you pick a man or a woman, which, very questionable if that's the case. Because you've let me go set up a homosexual date, and then you have, like, a straight partner or something. We don't know their relationship, because they never say lovers. There's nothing like mentioning romance. It's just like, are they just friends? We don't know the context for anything. And then this guy shows up and he's pissed hanging out with Abaddon. And it's like, what? Okay, you beat him up. Then Abaddon's like, sorry, about him. And then you're like, yeah, it's whatever. And then she just betrays you. And then you have a handicap match. Handicap matches aren't even available offline. Well, an exhibition, I mean. Even though you have to do, like, 5 of them in Road to Elite. There's so many handicap matches, including, like, fucking gauntlet match. Why is handicap match not an option? I don't know. But, yeah, you have a handicap match, you win the match, and then you get no explanation for what the fuck you just played. Like, thanks for wasting half an hour of my life game. That's annoying because I feel like that shows up every time as well. It shows up so often. Other battles are usually the championship ones, specifically the ones where you win the championship at the end. Assuming it's not in the end of the career mode, because the blocks aren't connected. You win a championship, you don't defend it after that block. There's, like, very few ways you defend it, and that's usually if you have the championship. You win the championship at the start, not the end of the run. Like, the women's championship one's fine, because you win it at the start, or you can, and then you can defend it at the pay-per-view. So I think that one's fine. So yeah, overall, it's alright, but not as replayable as the thing. Because, yeah, there's different stories and stuff, but once you get through it the first time, it's like, well, I have very low incentive to want to actually see other stories, even though I enjoyed this first playthrough. It's like, okay, wrap it up. I don't think it's as replayable as they thought. Again, I think they overestimated a lot with this game. I think they've overestimated success of the Stadium Stampede mode, because I don't think it's going to be successful. So yeah, other stuff. Again, the matchup. I downplayed the ladder match in my initial thoughts, and I really liked the ladder match. Actually, my only complaint is that, like, it's so easy to bring the thing down. Like it's like a matching system, which that's fine for that type of thing. But it's so quick. It's so much quicker than other games, and that annoys me because it takes me out. And I forgot this because SVR has such a great ladder match system up until 2011. Where, like, you have, like, a meter to drain out, and it's such a big meter, it does take fucking forever, and I love that, because you can do so much crazy shit in that patch. Whereas this one, there's crazy stuff to do. There's, like, a bunch of cool ladder spots. Like, you can get up one ladder while your opponent's on the other, and you can, like, just do like a fucking Cody cutter off the ladder, or you can jump off the ladder and land on the other ladder, and there's just a bunch of crazy like ladder animations and shit. It's really cool. But yeah, if I try fucking around the CPU, you get to 10 minutes into match, and yeah, that's like a decent length. But I haven't done my spots yet. I haven't got my moves in, and he'll just throw me out the ring. Yes, the AI like knows to throw you out the ring to climb the ladder, and then for some reason you just stood outside the ring. You're all like fucking dizzy, like you're a fucking Mortal Kombat character on the finishing screen. And then your opponent has already brought the thing down, even though no one had touched it yet, because it's so easy to bring down. Like, that genuinely annoys me, if you couldn't tell. I had to replay, like, this one match for like, my universe thing, my universe mode thing. I had to replay it, like 7 times before I could actually, like, get it not to end preemptively, you know? And again, like, I feel like something like that annoys me more than the actual, like, finisher system, because WWE games had this problem too, so I already say gain that problem after the old SVR ladder system changed, and like I've got like fucking repressed memories of that system that were just unlocked as soon as I played that ladder match the other day. And the other criticism is obviously it's just one-on-one ladder matches, even though you have like a 3-person ladder match in Road to Elite, so obviously multi-person ladder matches are possible. And again, the handicap matches are in tornado rules, so it shows that the CPU can work together even without the regular tag rules. So tornado tag should be an option, that should also be a ladder match option. That adds 3 more options to the ladder match. And then when it comes to 2-on-2, you tap the tornado option, and by extension you have the lights out option as well as the force KO option they have for 1-on-1. And then you have the handicap option, which includes 1-on-2, or 1-on-3. Or the gauntlet option, or the gauntlet match thing. Like, why are they locked from the game when you don't have many match types to begin with? It's very annoying. It really is. I hope they added, and someone in Discord told me that Evil Uno confirmed that like they're working on a steel cage match type. Again, I can't actually find a source for that, but apparently Evil Uno said it, so I guess. But again, we can't trust anyone outside of THQ or whatever. So yeah, don't take a word from that. And I mean, I just want to Road to Elite match first, honestly, and then match rules, because I think that just adds enough. That genuinely just adds enough. Because that's what I need. I don't need modes, I need match types, right? Because I want to play the game, I want the options from playing the game. And there's a decent amount already, you know? Yeah, like the basic stuff, but there's no trios match, that's like the biggest absence. And unfortunately, I feel like that's something that won't get added, because if it was possible, they would have done it already. It seems like they can only do 4 players in one ring. You know, same Stampede is 30 people. So I could be completely wrong about that. I don't know how it works. I've seen people say, well, it's because of the Switch version. The Switch version can handle more than 4 people. If it can handle the fucking Battle Royale mode they're playing, it can handle a trios match. So I have no reason why it's not there. So obviously 6-person matches, such a huge thing, you know. I think for someone 6 people just adds more options in what you can do. But yeah, I mean, the 6-person tag matches, you know, AEW is the Trios Championships. They're just non-existent in this game. Also, when you can make tag teams, you can only make tag teams. You can't make trios or anything like that. Annoying. It's annoying. So yeah, there's that. So that I can see again adds match rules, because they'd be so easy to add. To have match rules, because straight away you can select pin only, submission only. There you are. So you've got your submission match. Set a time limit. AEW's got actual time limit matches, right? I don't know if they do them anymore, because I don't watch anymore, but I know they have time limits. So yeah, you can set a time limit using the timer that you have in a bar-wide death match, that they then use for the Paul White challenge. So it shows you can just throw it onto a regular match. So it should be very easy to implement, because you already have a timer. That's all you need. I need to set that to have 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 45 minutes. Just go to an hour, because there's been hour Ironman matches. And then people complain about the match length. Well, there you are. The match won't end until that clock ends. You got an hour to do shit, right? Like that, like straight away. You've got a lot of options there for that Iron Man match, and then you've also got a submission match. You can also have like knockout only, although they don't have like a KO system, so that's more something that you need to implement rather than something already in the game. Another one's First Blood, although that would also be kind of a tricky one because how blood works in this game, and the blood's really cool. But how it works is just certain weapons will immediately cut you open. I don't know if you get cut open just from random stuff. Like, I've had, one ladder match I was playing as Cody, and like a springboard to the ladder. I like just did a crossbody into the ladder, and he was bleeding after that, so I don't know how it works. But yeah, maybe First Blood won't be possible, but it's definitely a blood physics, mechanics and stuff, so it could probably work. 2 out of 3 falls by extension the Iron Man person, because that would be adding multiple falls to a finish. So yeah, that's another one that's possible. There's probably others. I'm trying to think. I feel like table matches and they want to be easy, but I get that they're not there because AEW doesn't actually do tables matches. I don't think anyone really cares about table matches, but that's one that feels like it'd be actually very simple to do. Because again, that's just changing the winning criteria to be something that's already in the game. Putting someone through a table, that's definitely in the game. So yeah, I think there's definitely, like, match rules would add a ton of options straight away. It would add that variety that we needed, right? So I think that paired with having the Road to Elite match types, RTE, which again would be Tornado Tag, even though that's not actually in the game, but the handicap mode proves that like other tag options, Tornado Tag options, would be possible. So you have 3 handicap match options, you have 3 more tag options for the Tornado Tag. You got the ladder match, you've now got access to a Tornado Tag, 3-way and 4-way. And yeah, like you've already added a lot more variety there. And then you throw on the match rules, where you can just edit the options and whatnot. Then yeah, you've got a lot more to work with. So I think that alone would do a lot. Like I haven't even really mentioned anything that would be new to add. It's all stuff that's in the game technically, or stuff that'd be very easy to implement, like submission match only. So yeah, I think it's no possible. So that's definitely just out of the picture. It's like blood and guts match. That's not happening. It's not. It's just not. But I mean, they don't have many stipulation matches, to my knowledge. I think that's still okay. It's like a bigger mission. Like that's probably like your priority outside of trios, which is apparently impossible. I don't know. It feels like it should be if they can do Battle Royale though. So maybe it comes, but I feel like it should have just been base game if they were planning on it. So outside that's still okay, like the biggest submission outside those match rules and the Road to Elite match types. Because again, they're not like big match types, but it's just more options if you do that. So yeah, I really do hope this exhibition page gets more updates to it. I really, really do. But I mean, yeah, like overall, it's like 10 options because there's regular 1-on-1. You got like lights out match, and you got falls count anywhere. You got 2-on-2. You got 3-way. You got 4-way. So that's 5 match types technically. There's 2 versions of Casino Battle Royale. Again, it's a very well made mode. Then you got the Explain Battle Royale Deathmatch, and you got a ladder match. So that's like 10. Yeah, I think that's like a solid amount. I think that's solid to start with. Again, at the price of this game is at, should be some more options, I feel. Again, not as many as like 2K. I mean, I say 2K games. 2K themselves don't have many match type options until like they had like 8-person tag, and that also brought in like custom rules. Like 2K18 kind of slept on that, a lot of stuff. But I know like since like they went to the next gen, like even 2K has had quite a limited match type selection, and this has like out there match with the barbed wire death match. Like that's surprised that's in there, So it's like, yeah, you could do a steel cage match for sure, especially when AEW still cage matches don't even involve like climbing out the cage to win. I feel like they'd be quite easy to implement because you just need to have the cage, which there's cage parts in the game, like in the mini games, you have like cages, cage walls and stuff. So they're in the game, and I've seen mods for cages and stuff. So that feels like one that I can see being added. The concern is like, will they be compatible online? I think Parallax you can just make that happen, but they probably shouldn't for like stuff because I feel like you need to take it down. I think rank straight away, rank should just be normal match, right? It should not have any of the other options. Casual, I guess you could open up the other options, but it's unlikely you'll find one. But rank should just be one on one. Because I don't know if anyone's playing ranked for anything but that. So yeah, I think they need to limit the options, not expand them. And also, I don't think they should use that as an excuse not to add new match types. You know, saying, oh, it's not possible online. Then just don't have it as an online option, you know? So yeah, homing stuff gets added. And yeah, I know this was kind of complaining, you know? I say kind of, but yeah, it was definitely complaining. But yeah, I have the game now, and I have all stuff. A lot of people want stuff, you know? And we just want a roadmap. Like, that's all, like, we've been left in the dark. We just want a roadmap of, like, what to expect to get added. Because, yeah, I feel like this is a great start, but they gotta deliver with, like, updates, you know? And I'm talking, like, free content. I'm not talking, like, DLC shit, because, fuck that, it's overpriced as hell already. You got some free content to justify the price you've already paid before you add more DLC. Outside the already planned season pass DLC, obviously, because people bought that. Give me the DLC, please. So I guess it just leaves with the creation system, which has been talked about to death. I made a lot of creative arenas. I did it for like my university thing to make like the special, because they have like special mentions, like special names, like winter is coming or whatever. And so I just made like custom arenas based on those. And then actually just like the Titantron screen, which, you know, they're not like animations. So I feel like they could just add more logos. Add the logos of those special events, create unique logos and stuff. Because I get like the logo, your only options really are just AEW and just various visual. But yeah, you should just throw in the other ones, right? You could throw in a Ring of Honor logo too, because you own Ring of Honor. So yeah, I that's my really real criticism of the Create Arena. I'm surprised we have a Create Arena in this game. I think it's solid enough because again, I mean, arenas in AEW they don't really change look anyway, and there is some very wild options with the patterns. So I actually think it's quite a good Create an Arena system personally. Again, it's just a lot of stuff is like, oh, it's just this one basic color. Also, you can't change the colors and stuff. Like, they don't have a color wheel in this game, but they have a lot of colors for stuff that you can change colors for. And some stuff you just can't change color for. I don't know why. And the arena feels like that quite a bit. So that just adds some more logos. And I think we'll be good to go with that. Create a wrestler needs a lot of work. I know I'm talking about making it more complex. I just think it needs more options, right? Because I don't think it needs to like import logo or community creations because they're very simple to make. I don't find that simplistic style, and I kind of like it because it means it is easy to make creative wrestlers, but also to get like a very specific look for it. It's very hard. The only good part of it is you can make like a dog shit version of someone, and then go, yeah, I mean, this is as good as I can do it, right? It doesn't feel like there's like a skill gap. Like anyone can make a creative wrestler the best of their abilities, and as simple as the options are, because of the simplistic graphics, they blend in well with actual gameplay. Like the models are on par with like the in-game models, right? Which is why I don't even like creative wrestling in the modern like WWE games. I can't even comparison because they have better creation suites, of course. But yeah, I've never used them because they're very complicated. So I can only really use community creations for those ones because they're very hard to learn. And yeah, you need like import logos and whatnot just to get a wrestler that only partially looks on the level of the very detailed in-game models. So I like the simplistic graphics of that. The art style's definitely grown on me. I mean, I said that before. Before I was like, this game looks like dog shit. I mean, in parts it does. I have the Switch version as well though. And if, like my main console's a Switch, so like yeah, I don't care much for graphics anyway. My issue was more so the art style direction. I've grown to the art style. I think it's good now. Um, yeah, Career Wrestler. I just need to fix some shit. I mean, just today I was making a car rally call, and like, there's knee pad options. If you have kick pads on, some knee pads aren't available though. And for some reason, there's this one knee pad type which is available on one knee, but not for the other knee. Like, there's just so many issues that don't make sense to me. Like street clothes is like options like everything. You know, there's no limitations on them. On what you can have on, like that's the full system now. And I feel like that should just be available for in ring and entrance. Because I mean, one problem is like headwear for in ring. You select that in ring, and that includes stuff like glasses and stuff, which should probably be entrance only, but it's only option for that. And when you get to the entrance attire, you can just throw on a shirt or a jacket. And there's a misconception that you can't wear a shirt in ring, even though that's like the one thing you modify of AEW wrestlers. You put a shirt on them and they can wrestle in the shirt. Which, by the way, the only benefit of that, like here's an idea with that people can do because I've done it, is Aubrey Edwards just throw on a different shirt over the referee shirt, so she has like some gear. That's like the only use for that system, it feels. But yeah, there's just something you can just select once you pick it, like, oh, entrance only or entrance and in ring. And I think the same goes for jackets. So that's fine. That's kind of an awkward way to do that. But yeah, it's possible to put a shirt on wrestler for that in ring attire. So yeah, it's not. But yeah, there's just limitations in random places that either shouldn't be there. And I feel like most of them are by accident. But yeah, it needs work. It does need work. Create a moveset, I think, is very in-depth, though. I think there's a ton of options. Like over 1,000 animations, something. Not as in-depth as, like, the catalog at, like, say, 2K has. But it's certainly good enough, absolutely. And Create, I mean, there's a lot of options. The jukebox, like, the amount of user tracks, there's a lot. I think they're still missing a lot of AEW music, though. But there's a lot. It's, like, a countless amount. There's some weird stuff. I mean, they don't have Moxley's theme, which that's sad, but obviously I assume that must be out of their hands. They have Judas though, and that is in Jericho's theme, of course, and that's there on the list, but it's unlisted anywhere else. You can't select for the jukebox, which the jukebox you can like customize where you can change the order, which is good. When you first play the game, like the jukebox is really loud. You also select there to have it like playing music while you're in a match, which I think is kind of cool. I have that turned off though. At least offline. Online, you can also is like separate. You can have it on for like online, which I do that. Even though I can't play online because there's no fucking players. But yeah, I think the rest is overall pretty solid, even though there's some questionable stuff. I don't like the naming of stuff because they go by their literal name. With a few exceptions that I don't know why. I guess they might just be unnamed songs. But yeah, it's like the actual titles of the songs. And like, unless it's Judas, unless it's Wild Thing, no one knows the names of these fucking songs. So you have to Google the character's song to see what their theme name is and then find it on the list. And sometimes it's not even there because it's not an actual complete list. But there's a lot of songs like entrance themes for like wrestlers who aren't in the game and stuff. So yeah, overall it's solid, but yeah, that does annoy me. Creating entrance is just kind of cool because you can like select like pyro and stuff. Like I think all that's very good. It's just when it comes to the actual create a wrestler part, making the person, I think you can. It's very good for just making like your own original character, you know, like very simple, very easy, very quick and easy to just get your own character and have them feel like they're on par with the actual real AEW wrestlers, you know. When it comes to recreating wrestlers from the game, and we're rostered like this size, and with like how many absences there are, that's kind of like something a lot of people want to do, myself included. And you know, I make career wrestlers. Like I started off before I made this video, I was like, okay, I'll make career wrestlers now. When Which, by the way, you need to go to Road to Elite to change that stats stuff. I'm pretty sure I mentioned that, but that's annoying to say the least. Um, but yeah, I made Lufa, I made Serpentico, I made Boyfish made Carl Riley. So I started off with Chaos Project, that tag team, because they had very distinct designs, and it was very tricky. But at least with Dr. Lufa, I feel like I had something that resembled him. Serpentico, like very much reaching for him because he's got such a specific design, you know. So like that, like you're not going to have a great time there. There's only like a couple like masks, luchador masks and shit. There's not a lot of options there. And then I got to Boyfish and Kyle O'Reilly, and their shirts actually in the game, the Red Dragon shirts in the game. So I searched the entrance obviously, and the ring attires, they're quite simple, but there's no logos to throw onto any clothing pieces in this game. So you just kind of throw on generic clothing pieces anyway. And even then, with like such simple like attires, there was like a lot of stuff that I couldn't actually recreate, just for whatever limitations. And the face is a big problem. I think there's been more face options, but I think bigger than faces because the face is so simple anyway. I think even bigger than that is the hair options. There's not a lot of hair options. And also you limit it because, the women have certain hairstyles, the men have certain hairstyles. Why is that a limitation? Like, why are we doing that with your very simple-ass Creation Suite? Why can't we just make everything in the Creation Suite unisex? Why are we limiting that? And then also facial hair. Not many options. Like, if you want a full beard, there's like one option. It doesn't look like stubble. So yeah, I was like, I can't even make it kind of look like him. Like, it's very hard to even get that. Like, look, I just made two generic wrestlers that kind of resemble them. And again, the only positive is it's like, well, I can't get any better than this, so I'm gonna stick with it. I do think people exaggerate when they say, oh, you can't recreate anyone. I think that's false. I think it's just very hard with some ones. And even ones that you think would be simple, they're hard, right? I've seen great career wrestlers for wrestlers like Claudio. That's one that you can definitely make and give multiple, pretty accurate attires. Another one's like Finn Balor, because there's literally his demon paint, two options for it. I think there's some good AJ Styles ones. I think the problem is obviously you don't have his logo and stuff, so it's very much the Wish.com version of AJ. I have just a lot, and the women actually. It feels like the women Creation Suite's actually better. I feel like you can recreate a lot more wrestlers. I've seen good Tony Storm create wrestlers, stuff like that. Which I'll definitely be using. And the good thing is, with the simplicity, again, it's very easy to follow core formulas. So I don't mind the simplicity of it all. My problem, again, is that there's just not enough options. I don't want a simple thing, but there's however many bead options, 10 or whatever. And I think this should be more, So I don't mind a simple system. It's just there's not many options. That's my personal issue with it. But yeah, I think there's something fresh you can recreate. It's a very decent level. And then there's others the four I made. I'll show you. Where you can identify who they are, which I might change this look for attire. I think a lot of you just imagine a made up attire that would suit the wrestler to just find actions. Another issue actually that I just thought of looking at this is tattoos. You can only select one tattoo, and you can only select specific parts. If it's an arm tattoo, it's on both arms. Same for legs and whatnot. And you can't change the colour of any of them. And they're all rather generic patterns. So it's okay, any wrestler has tattoos you can't do accurately. Which I think wrestlers with tattoos is the fucking the nightmare for anyone making create wrestlers. It's real on SVR games, but you have the logos that you can customize to work with. This game doesn't have the logos, and while that's fine, you've got to have more intricate patterns to offer. Right, and you've got to be able to offer more than just one tattoo, right? I mean, like, look at this Serpentico. It's not Serpentico at all. But, like, genuinely, I cannot give you any better than this, I don't feel. Something that feels very complete with this is the announced names. There's so many names, and so many names are just that you can put together, like WWE names and just AEW names. Like, Justin Raj put in the work and announcing all those names. There's so many. Tag team names too, although tag teams are annoying because you need to select a tag team name to make a team, which is so dumb. And the Hardy Boys isn't even an option. The Hardys don't even have like an entrance motion. Super weird, right? But yeah, I thought it was decent. Naming's annoying. The display name. So Pentaco does not even fit in the display name. It's a max of 9, so I had to go with Pentaco. Fucking Pentaco. So yeah, if you want to make a Spentaco wrestler, there you go. We can't really make a Spentaco great wrestler, but it's Pentaco. It's Pentaco. So yeah, I have positive to say about this game, but there is a lot of negative, right? I feel like this game is valid criticism, and I am going to be critical of it, even though I enjoy it, you know? Like, for birthday, I got like 6 games. This is my most played one of those 6, you know? Which is kind of just because I get a lot of wrestling games regardless, you know? I feel like they're very replayable for me personally. So I was like, you know, it's a very overpriced game, but I'll get my money's worth because I've fucking played this game a lot, you know? It is annoying, and the more I play, the more that just some tiny little issue shows up, and I'm like, this is never going to be fixed. That's fucking annoying. And yeah, it just kind of feels that way. So yeah, it's frustrating. It is, but again, I still think this is a good game. I don't recommend it to anyone though. I really don't. I do not think it's not worth it. The price DLC is not worth it. I'm worried that there'll be more DLC afterwards. That'll be also overpriced. I don't even trust that they'll be supporting it much in terms of updates. That's going to become a broken promise because it kind of went from, we surely will be adding a lot of content over the years to come or whatever, to, well, if this game gets enough support, we'll get it. We'll add more content. And it's like, okay, this game's already looking pretty dead, so that's not a good sign. But yeah, we'll just have to see. Again, it's kind of a game that we'll have to keep looking back on because it does seem to have major content updates. Like Sailing Stampede, even though I'm not really interested in the idea, that's a major content update to drop, you know? So that gives me a little bit of hope, but also just the mode itself made me nervous for the reason I talked about earlier. But overall, this is a good game, not worth the price. And it's not a stellar wrestling game as me. Other better wrestling game options. But yeah, I'm fun with the game. I'll keep playing it. I'll keep supporting it. But yeah, I mean, it depends what we get. It's probably worth looking back on this game every now and then. It won't be monthly though, because I don't think this game gets just enough updates to be like on a monthly level. But we can revisit it like every few months and go, hey, look what's changed, hopefully for the better. So we just gotta wait, unfortunately. So yeah, that's all for this video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.